Now get ready for the time of your lives, cause you are now watching GAHCast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to GAHCast, the show where 20 episodes in and we still have no idea what the hell we're doing. I'm your host, HighJoyof99, and I'm joined here today with FluufAlpaca. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty damn well. I have so much caffeine in me, thanks to our sponsor, Scuba Jonesy. I'm sorry. Anyways. Can't wait for chapter 3. Anyways, no, I'm doing pretty fine. Just woke up. Life and all that. Went to the comic book store today and got a bunch of Pokemon cards. One of them was fake, and one of them was... Well, actually, it wasn't a fake. They had a deal for 3 for like $25, and it was like metal ones. They were fake. One was Deadpool with Detective Pikachu. One was a shiny Ditto. And the other one, I believe, was... Oh yeah, it's the one I have right here. It's Eevee, but it's in French for some reason. I have no idea why it's in French, but I don't know.
That's interesting. That must have been an import from France, probably.
Yeah, they probably went all the way from Canada down to, America, I guess. Or maybe they were from freaking French. That'd be interesting. That's a journey right there.
Yeah. To think about, it's funny to think all this stuff. Like, I know for a fact that I am, over, roughly, 50% Canadian French myself. So, it's I actually did Ancestry DNA at one point in time, and it was just you have a lineage in your hand that actually did settle in Quebec, Canada. That was fascinating.
Interesting.
It is, yeah. Because I remember at one point in time, I was chatting with my mom about this, and I remembered specifically that when this happened, I was just, when I found out from Ancestry, I'm like, yo, she actually was right, because I didn't believe her for a while, because Canadian French, that didn't seem quite such a thing. French, I can believe, but Canadian French? Nah. Then I got this Ancestry DNA result, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's sick.
Oh, yeah, certainly. I also got, Sylveon, Dark Sylveon, and, what's funny is I actually had the same card, but it was an official card. The metal one was a metal reproduction, if that makes sense. It was basically the same card, but in French, and it was metal stamped. Personally, I believe I have a bit of French in myself. I know I'm mostly Italian. I've never taken an Ancestry or 23andMe or any of those genetic tests, but I do know that I do say sorry a lot. So yeah, that's a thing. Especially when I'm being a silly Billy, just going but what if Scuba Jonesy, dude? I'm sorry. I'll go like that all the fucking time, and I'm just interesting. Why do I say sorry so much?
Are you secretly a Canadian? Who knows?
Who knows? Find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Oh, shit. I said Z. God damn it.
I hear ya. I remember I was trying, when I was originally going to, for those of you who watched episode 19, no, wait, no, not 19, 18, when I did the previously on GAHCast, which, by the way, I'm sure many of you noticed that we got a new intro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the new intro. I actually had like I was originally going to do previously on GAHCast Z to kind of be like a play on Dragon Ball Z. That was originally going to be the idea for it, like trying to make like a spoof off of Dragon Ball Z. But
Oh yeah.
clearly that never happened, so. But it still came out freaking awesome, and I'm like, I will gladly take that.
Oh yeah. It's definitely it was definitely supposed to be cheesy, so obviously in the one that you're gonna see, um, after this one, I believe, right? Or are you gonna change this one as well?
The intro is gonna stay the same for a while, but after a while, like I'm gonna there's gonna be another version of the intro with the same song and like core layout, but it's just gonna be like I'm gonna tweak it so there's like feature film of like us like scrolling around.
I see.
So I'm gonna like more interact, like a more dynamic intro. So it's gonna be a really interesting intro that I'm gonna plan out. But yeah, it's gonna be a really cool project once I get it all done, and eventually there will be a proper theme song that I will compose.
Okay.
Myself.
Yeah, certainly.
Eventually down the road, which will provide a very different feel for the intro. Like rather than being this metalish feel, it'll probably be something a bit different. But that's a while away once I actually have the space and time to be able to pull that off.
Of course, yeah. Because honestly, you're very good at guitar, even though you say you're, average or below average. Honestly, I could not do some of the stuff that you do on guitar that I've seen you do, like it's truly amazing what you can do, honestly, in my opinion. Just some guy that I know that's my friend. Of course I know you're very humble about it, so I can assume that you probably do have a bit of ways to go. You do take classes, right?
Well, I actually am about to finish up this semester at college that actually had a classical guitar class, and so I'll have that guitar 1 class done. So I'll have some mastery in like at least the first position. But other than that, though, like yeah, it was a good class because even though I had experience with the guitar, it did help me refine like my style a bit more, and it did teach me how to read like classical notation guitar, which was very helpful.
Oh, certainly.
Which is helpful for like understanding like music pattern and like understanding like rhythm sense. Like it was very helpful for understanding that.
I see.
But meanwhile though, Alpaca, was there anything new with you in regards to like besides the Pokemon cards, like any like technology you've interacted with or
I do believe I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but I got a new phone.
Woo!
So yeah, got a new phone. It's way better than the last one, and now that I kind of know how to properly take care of it, which I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't believe I did a little bit way back when, but now I know how to take care of it and not like use cruddy chargers and make sure not to drop it as much and a few other things. I mean, it's pretty good. It's got it has like a battery saver that's always on, which is good in my opinion. Like you can keep it always on unless it's charging. A bunch of basic features, but as some dude who just truly doesn't know too much about phones versus actual computers, I appreciate whatever it has. I really only want my phone for YouTube and for watching YouTube and just calling people. It's I never truly need a phone for much other than that, or just communication and YouTube. And but if I do need to, I'll of course use it on my computer just to get that 1080p. Oh, this phone can handle 720p, which my original one didn't. So
woo!
Yeah. Yeah, like if you put it at 720p or 1080p, it would like stutter, which is strange. But anyways, what else have I? Oh yeah, So of course Black Friday happened a little while ago now. Um, and while I wasn't able to get anything because I was a bit stubborn, I was like, maybe I should wait on this. There were some pretty good deals. There's like an SK Hynix solid state drive, the SATA ones. Those were um those were like $75, I believe. Um, and that one was um that one I would have gotten if I wasn't so stubborn about it, you know. But I mean, whatever. It's fine. I was definitely looking at the Black Friday deals, but I do feel sometimes though that Black Friday deals nowadays have been shortened to a throwaway stock, I guess. Like get rid of this inventory type of deal.
Mm.
Um, However, that doesn't mean that it's always like that. It's just that, I mean, especially with the ongoing semiconductor shortage, among other things, that's kind of the reason why I haven't been able to like get too much technology in my life. I would love to get a great GPU, but you know.
Yeah, that's not going to happen for a while as long as the CPU and GPU and component shortage is going on right now with this, thanks to all the semiconductor shortages and whatnot. This is going to be a thing for a while.
Yeah, unless our people can kind of fight back, which hint hint, one of the topics in a few moments. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah. As for me though, I haven't really mentioned some of the things I have acquired. For I think last time. I don't know if I actually mentioned I got some of the stuff last time, but screw it, I'm gonna show it off. I have this Zelda Game and Watch. This is,
oh yeah, you showed me that. I play Link 1 and Zelda 1 and 2 and Link to the Past, right? Or is it Awakening?
this is Legend of Zelda 1, Legend of Zelda 2, and this also has Link's Awakening.
All right then. Yeah, I was.
And yeah, this is and for those of you who don't have this, the Link's Awakening that's in here is the original version, not the DX version.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Right. But the thing is, there's a nice little touch on this, if any of you don't know. There's a little glowing Triforce right there. If you leave it on, it actually glows.
Oh yeah,
When it's on.
I remember you showing me that. Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
You know.
Other news, I actually got a couple other games here. I'll show you my special edition collection here. I got Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is on the very top there. And I believed over here is my copy of Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania that I recently acquired. And I also managed to get myself this lovely little game here called Tales of Arise. I've heard good things about this game, and this also was on the RPG list for Game of the Year. Not Game of the Year, but get the idea. The RPG of the Year in the Game Awards. Which this game here is in the running alongside another legendary game.
Oh yeah, another legendary game, but only because it was on sale.
Exactly. More on that actually very soon. So, actually, well, speaking of which, might as well get to it now. So, this topic actually was one from last week. Well, last weekend more so. But the thing is that we were trying to find topics for this week, and we just saw this one, and we were like, this actually would make a good topic to talk about. And
oh yeah, certainly.
so let's get this going here. So I'm gonna scroll up a little bit here. Yeah, so Cyberpunk 2077 was rated very positive by new user reviews. So what happened here is that this, game, I was at a messy launch. I can't deny it. You can't deny it. Everyone knows it.
I could not deny that. They delayed and delayed it, and they were really polishing a turd at this point. But it has been consumed by flies, which has been eaten by frogs, which has been eaten by other predators, and food chain up to what apparently is a very positive, good game. Who knows?
Yeah, so what happened here is that on the Steam Autumn sale that just happened, it was on sale for half the price. And despite the glitches that it had at launch, there were some patches that got released, obviously before this sale happened, and it went from receiving just 78 thumbs up on November 23rd to 2,882 of them on November 24th. And then the day after that, it went right up to 5,589. And then everyone was like, and one guy wrote, and according to this article, some relatively minor glitches here and there, but overall a compelling story in an immersive world. Plus, if you're a fan of Keanu Reeves, then you're bound to have a good time.
And we all know. What was that quote? We're here for Keanu Reeves. Anyways, but I don't know. Yeah. But one person said, "Nice game. Come back in 2077 when it's finished." XD. Which, you know, who is it? Quest director Powell, I don't know how to pronounce it. Powell Sasko was pleased to see the recommendations coming in, saying on Twitter, "You can't imagine what it means to me," and thanking players for over 15K very positive reviews in the last days, which is now risen to like just under like 19 almost 20,000 reviews. Like it's at 19,899. But you know, it's I mean, it's quite interesting, you know, that a sale could like make a game just jump, because of course you have to worry about, you know, the fact that the news is just that it's such a, you know, it's a, people didn't like this game when it came out. It was very buggy, very unpolished. It got taken off the PlayStation 4 store, which, my god, you know, like if your game has to be, if your AAA developed game has to be taken off of a major console brand store, then like, I mean, you've really messed up at that point. They really should have either not released it on the younger consoles, I guess, or the older consoles. I mean, they should have only released it on the younger consoles, the newer ones, I feel, at least. But this just goes to show that they really have tried their very best to, you know, polish it up, you know, for lower end hardware, because a lot of the people on Steam, they really only use like mid-tier graphics cards. Like, I'm one of them. I use a 1660 Super, which is kind of mid-tier, but a lot of them use a lower end, like the 1060 and, you know, 1050 Ti, you know, and it's amazing that, you know, they've at least gotten the game to a point where people can actually truly enjoy it somehow, you know?
Yeah.
I know people are waiting for a sale. Yeah. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Like, I've actually played Cyberpunk 2077, both on my computer here, and then obviously, as many of you see, my games rack there, I have it on Xbox. And I've been playing it more so on the Series X, because obviously right now my computer is technically worse than my Xbox over there. And
Technically.
Yeah.
Can't run Photoshop on it. Sorry, I'm not trying to be a PC elitist. You know. Oh god.
It's fine. But anyways, the game actually, I haven't really encountered too many bugs with my playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077. And while I do like to joke around with the game a lot, especially because of its meme status on the internet, I
Uh,
genuinely enjoy the game, and these reviews actually show that the game itself, if the bugs were fixed up, would have been had much better reviews when it came out. And like I remember reading something about the developers wanting like another 2 years worth of time for polish and to make sure everything was working right. And CD Projekt Red actually was trying to get the game rushed.
yeah, I I understand that they wanted to get it out, just before, Christmas, I guess, or not before Christmas, but before autumn, and I know that they are trying to get it out there, as soon as possible because it was pretty much okay, but they really needed like CD Projekt Red should have just not given the go ahead. The higher ups should have understood that this um, scheme of releasing an unpolished game and then fixing it up later, it really hurts the first impressions. Isn't it a isn't it, a thing still that first impressions count? And yet you got video game companies like this, they are not doing their best to give that first impression. It really counts still. And some game companies apparently they believe it's not so. Which it's kind of quite sad in my opinion. But
Right.
um hey, but I'm glad to see that the game has become a better form of itself without NPCs sitting on the bench backwards and you know sub 20 FPS on the PlayStation 4 of all things. But yeah, no. I mean, I'm just glad that it's able to progress, Like progression is such a good, like it's such a we strive for progression. We strive to get ahead. We look a lot in the past sometimes, but progressing forward is a lot. Is basically what the human, that's how we survived. We progressed. We became a civilization. We became a community. And just like that progression, I feel like Halo Infinite really polished up on that progression route too.
Yeah, let's get into that then. I mean, I do have some thoughts on Cyberpunk itself. Like, don't get me wrong, it still has some ways to go before it does, get to speed to where it should be. But yeah, let's move on to Halo then. While we're on the mindset of that, and yeah, so
Oh, you can
we're good. We're good.
Okay, that's fine.
So we've had an update on the progression system, and what it's saying here is John Junisek, one of the Halo community managers at 343 Industries, has made a pretty interesting update on November 30th, and this is what he said. When we made our initial change to progression, which added daily play one game challenges, updated weekly challenges, and double the duration of 2 XP boosts, we promised that we'd monitor the data and make additional changes if needed. Now it's time to follow up on that. After seeing how XP was earned with those changes, we noticed that players were starting their sessions with slower payouts than we'd like. To address this, we will be increasing the XP payout for the first 6 matches of each day. An outline of this update can be found below. And you can see here that the first game will give you 300 XP. Games 2 and 3 will give you 200 XP. The 4th through 6th games will give you 100 XP. And the 7th plus game will give you 50 XP. And they believe this increase will help address those slower initial payouts, while also benefiting those of you jumping on each day. Now, this last tweet he gave out actually was the biggest kicker of the whole thing. And to me, continues to show that 343 are wanting to make this game the best that they can. We know many of you want even larger changes, and we're committed to doing so, but those will take time. We made this update based on data and player feedback, and we'll monitor its impact after we push it live tomorrow morning. As always, keep sharing your feedback. So, like I said, judging based off what this is saying, this shows to me that 343 is at least looking at Halo issues, and they're trying to come up with something actually reasonable to make everything work. Like, I believe the idea for, actually having player, killing other players, actually giving you some scoring, is probably something they never, for some reason, didn't think to implement when they were developing this game, even though games like Fortnite had already had it. And so they're trying to take some time to figure out, okay, how are we going to best reasonably scale this with how we're trying to handle progression.
Yeah, and I've seen an argument for that specific thing, not having a payout for how many kills you get. That was actually the counter to that is that it's best not to, because if you're playing in objective mode, like Slayer, it's fine, but if you're playing in objective mode, having XP given to the people who get the most amount of kills is a little bit backwards because nobody will play the objective. The only counter to that, though, is that what if the objective gives a lot more score, or you don't get score for kills, you get score for objective plays in objective modes, and in Slayer it is the complete opposite, because the only objective is literally to kill.
That would make sense in some way, yeah. Or at least find a way so, killing is something you get, something from, these objective game modes like Oddball and all that stuff, but at least scale it down. Like, say if, Slayer gives you, 25 XP per each kill. In objective game mode, it'd be 13. But you would still get 25 XP per every X amount of seconds you're at the spawn for the objective mode.
Yeah, that might work. Of course, they'd have to balance it, but I do get what you're saying. Yeah. That was the counter to it, but I do understand that too as well, at least having some sort of payout, because that's part of the game, is literally to, shoot the bad guys, and if they, if you don't do that, they will shoot you and then steal the objective. So I do understand that that's part of the game, and should at least reward you with 10 XP or 20 XP per kill or something. And I do understand that, as this is a free-to-play game, of course they can't exactly just, crap out, experience. They gotta have people, log in, which, honestly, though, I'm glad, though, that they did this, first game, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh plus. I'm glad they did this, because that gives more incentive to log on. I feel like what's missing is a reason to log on in some games, and this would give you the joy of logging in and playing a game and then getting that experience boost. But as you play more, some people get tired. Some people get tired of it and they leave after their, 8th game. Me personally, I don't really I don't play that long. So I do like this progression system.
Oh, I hear you too. Even in addition to this too, I mean, we're not going to talk about this actively because it's whatever, but I did spot a video in my suggestion feed that I brought to Alpaca's attention, that they brought up some Twitter feed conversation that's hey, we are actually going to try and introduce more game modes. So having those game modes in addition to this progression system would actually help a lot.
Certainly, yeah, that too, because can I talk about what they included?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, you can mention what the video included.
So there was give me 1 second, let me go back to it, because I don't know the exact name of it. Apologies, viewers. Where is it? Here it is. Think. Yes. Okay, let's mute that. Pause it. All right, so apologies. All right, so there is free for all, SWAT, Fiesta. But the only thing I wonder, where is infection? Because that was I know that was a very, very like I know that was a very big mode way back in the day. It's literally, infected. I love the idea of that, is that you kill as the infected, like one person becomes infected and then they attack and all that. And as they sleep, it's like zombies basically, you know? But looking at the game modes that they are working on, free for all, we all know what free for all is. It's
the mode that I would always play in that game, probably. I swear to God.
Oh yeah, certainly. Fiesta, which we already got an event for Fiesta, but this time it's not towards a certain event. It's actually just Fiesta. Tactical Slayer or SWAT, which Tactical Slayer. I am brand new to Halo, so let me just look up.
I believe that's a mode in which you just start off with battle rifle, which is the pulse 3-shot with like a slight scope on it.
Okay.
I believe it's the mode in which you just start off with that. And then, because I know that's how ranked work too, but if I remember Team SWAT correctly, that's what that is. It's like a Slayer, but you start off with just the battle rifle. And
I see.
And then it really makes you, it's one of those modes, it really incentivizes you to explore the map and try whatever weapon you can find, because you only start off with like one weapon or something like that. Some stupid thing like that. I believe that's how that works.
I see. Yeah, where does it say? One second. Apologies. Okay. What are the rules? Oh, is there like friendly fire? Is it basically kind of like I'd say oh, I see. Okay. Infinite ammo, weapon pickup, no grenades, mongoose. I'm looking at the where is it? Halo 3 rule set. Betrayal booting. Oh, but you gotta watch out for friendly fire then. Mm-hmm. No shields. No shields. So it seems like almost like a version of hardcore from Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. So interesting. Yeah, I like I said, I'm brand new to Halo.
But this
not a noob though.
I'm sure this will be good for someone like you who's probably used to like Call of Duty then because you're probably used to a lower time to kill. So this will probably be a good mode for you to just hop on and just try once in a while to just.
Oh, certainly. I that is one thing that I was afraid of is that the lower time to kill in the usual games, and the usual shooters. But I feel like with SWAT though, like I feel like it overshadows what Halo is like higher time to kill. You have to be accurate in your shots and stuff, and an entire mag might not even get them if you don't hit them. So anyways,
yeah,
that is fine by me to get the new modes,
Yeah.
But back to the the whole battle pass progression.
Yeah,
because
back to that, because we had to tie this in because it was something that related to it, because it gave us more reasons to come back on the game. But
certainly.
I'll admit it right now. The challenge, I like having challenges be more freeform, because I know like some shooters, they get very restrictive with the challenges. And while Halo was kind of like that at first, they definitely changed the challenges up to make them more freeform, which is nice. And I feel like as long as you keep the challenges freeform, and then with these experience boosts, it'll go a long way to make the game better.
Yeah, certainly. And I do hope that as December 8th comes around, when the campaign pops up, they'll, kind of enforce that it's no longer truly a beta and go to the point where they're expanding the game a lot more. I truly am excited because, the only exposure to Halo I've ever had was my brother, playing on the Xbox 360 back in the day with, Halo 3 and Forge and stuff like that. So,
but then having a friend who was actually kind of curious about this game and is like, oh, it's free to play, let's just try it anyways. And then actually get you hooked up. It was
certainly, yeah. Yeah. And it pumps me up. I actually really enjoy this game. Can't wait to see more.
Absolutely. I'm sure with the single player, it's going to make you really hyped up and act like you mentioned at one point, want to go back to the Master Chief Collection, see what in the world have you missed from this franchise you wish you played sooner.
Yeah, I truly do. I was wondering about grabbing the Master Chief Collection before, I was like, I want to see how this, actually went by, and like, I know 5 is a bit controversial, 4 was a tad bit, but, I know Reach and all those other, parts of the, franchise and the comic books. The comic books are vast. That's what 5 kind of played on, is the comic book series, right?
I don't remember exactly. I pretty much played a bit. I think the Halo game mostly played was 3. That was the one that was when I first got into the Xbox ecosystem, was around when the 360 launched. Yeah, I remember the Red Rings of Death too.
Yeah.
I was there during that time. I remember like my brother, believe it or not, when the Xbox 360 came in my life, I remember it was my birthday gift for my brother. And believe it or not, they actually like tried to prank it by leaving the Xbox in the oven. Not cooked.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell?
But they were trying to play a joke by hiding it in the oven.
Yeah, because it would overheat. I get it. Oh my god.
But it was them not knowing. It was just a funny joke. So it was
they didn't know, and they didn't know that there was a Red Ring of Death.
Not back then, no. So they were not.
Whoa.
So this is like launch close. Like this was like back around like the launch of the 360 before these issues started rising up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, nowadays, all you have to really worry about is just getting the damn thing in stock, So, I mean, the Red Ring of Death was a thing, It was because I think it was because the silicon they used was crappy.
It was a combination of that and the fact that the way they distributed the heat in the system just made it really poor. But yeah, let's just get into checking out what they're going to try, what some U.S. legislators are going to try and do to combat these bots. And so... Yeah,
because it's insane that the bots just, automatically swoop it up and then they get scalped. And it's like... Jeez, I'm just glad about the law that they're going to propose, Yeah, let's look into that.
Yeah, so a group of Democratic lawmakers are pushing to pass the Stopping Grinch Bots Act. And this legislation would make it illegal to use bots to purchase products and would punish those that sell products obtained using them. And it's being pushed by New York Representative Paul Tonko alongside Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal. Hey, look at that. My state's actually doing a good thing. And New Mexico's Ben Ray Lujan. And while, it's most of the PS5 and Series X are the first thing to come to mind, this seems to extend to essentially any product purchased using bots. So this could include graphics cards.
I am actually excited. I'm actually smiling, and I'm so damn excited for this thing to pass because holy crap, I can get a 3090 at retail. Or hell, I can save up for just a simple 3060 Ti and just do whatever the hell I want with like 4K 1440p gaming, even though I run in 1080p all the time. So, you know, anyways, but back to the excitement. Yes! We have finally combated the scammers to the point where they will get imprisoned or fined or whatever this law entails. Anyways, oh my god, oh my god, because like, you know, like it says in the article, the average holiday shopper is unable to compete with the light speed of the all too common, you know, it says Grinch bot, but bots in general, like, they're calling it the Grinch because the Grinch stole Christmas and all that, but they're held at ransom by scalpers and third-party resellers, and, you know, no parent, nobody in general should have to fork over that much, you know? We should not have to spend, you know, 40,000 plus to get a 3090 when it's, I believe it's 150, I think, or I think it's $2,000. I can't remember.
$1,000. Yeah,
like
3090. Yeah, that's around $1,000.
But you know, it's just like this is probably a very neutral, like, in my opinion, this is a bipartisan type of law, in my opinion. I'm not sure if that's the correct term, but I feel like whether you are on either side of the spectrum, except for, you know, the scalpers, I guess, I feel like you would agree that this is really annoying, and this is not something somebody should have to deal with. And the fact that people have been starved for components and that the semiconductor shortage is still a thing and will be a thing for a long time. The fact that these scalpers have you literally hanging by your nuts or hanging by, you know, a string, and they are literally like, they have you on a hold. I feel like this would be I feel like this law, if this law does pass, which I hope it does, there's no downside. It literally punishes people who are forcing this semiconductor shortage to last longer than it should because people aren't able to get their stock in fast enough.
Right.
I feel like we're being forced to be lightning quick when you can only hit F5 so much.
Yeah, literally, I was lucky enough, I was able to be quick enough, and that I was able to get my Xbox Series X and PS5. Like, if it wasn't...
Thank God.
Yeah, like, if it wasn't for that, I probably would have had a PS5 literally on launch day. But one of the things that it does mention, and this is why we think there's a good chance this could pass, is that in 2016, Blumenthal, Schumer, and Tonka were able to pass the Better Online Ticket Sales Act, which stops resellers from using bots to purchase tickets for concerts and sporting events. So we already had part of the deal done. It just now we had part of.
Oh my God, they already got it passed for that. Then we're more than likely to see this pass as well. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Go right ahead, man.
Yeah.
Right.
However, another thing that it does mention in the article is that the UK also considered a similar legislation early in the year, but so far we haven't heard anything about it yet. So hopefully we'll hear something about the United Kingdom side. That will be really nice to see. But
would love to.
Yeah, so at least it'll be another country that we don't have to deal with this whole thing. So the more countries that we don't have to deal with this, the better.
Oh yeah. I hope this passes by, you know, just before Christmas, or it literally, like, I hope it passes frickin' tomorrow of all damn things, you know? Of course, that's a pipe dream. But if this passes, oh, rest my heart. I hope to see more on this later. You know.
And then we can finally get us a RV powered GTX 3090. I don't know that does not make any sense, but we'll go with it because
an RV powered 3090. What? So are you telling me that
I think
I could? Are you telling me that I could harness the power of the 3090 and then go cross-road with it, and then basically become a Tesla, a driving RV Tesla? Holy crap, Elon Musk, take my money. I mean, my God, you know, I'm just, you know, I just hope they did.
Yeah, and you too can finally buy a new phone that uses the T-Mobile network and go to Nebraska and finally witness the wilderness.
Yes, finally witness the middle of Nebraska by the power of the CEO of Nvidia and Sue from AMD, and you know, I'd have to reconfigure the damn thing, you know, but at least I won't have to reconstruct my development team because of a terrible launch year after year, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. We have to. We're in the next phase. Yeah, we have to get this going here because my God.
Woo! You know, I just yes, I love this. I'm happy. I hope I am able to see graphics cards in stock from all over. But anyways, EA is making major changes.
Oh yeah.
To
yeah.
The dev structure.
So yeah.
Let's get right into that.
Yes. There's a lot to say. So, as we know,
yes.
Battlefield 2042, which if you haven't seen our discussion last episode, we highly encourage you to check it out because we went into very high detail about someone's experiences with the game.
Yeah. Oh, and the really terrible car textures on the battlefield. Like, my God.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so pretty much what happens is after the release of Battlefield 2042, EA decided they want to make some changes to how Battlefield's going to work. So, essentially what EA wants to do is wants to create a Battlefield universe that will seemingly span multiple games and offerings, which will be developed by different studios across North America and Europe. That's the basis of why they're doing it. They want to make a massive universe with this.
I see.
So what's happening is that DICE GM Oscar Gabrielson is leaving the company in pursuit of a new endeavor outside of EA. And this also includes Respawn's Vince Zampella taking on a bigger role as the new overall boss of the Battlefield franchise, while Halo designer Marcus Leto is building a new development team in Seattle focused on injecting more storytelling into the Battlefield universe. Ripple Effect, the developer of 2042's Portal Mode, is developing a new Battlefield experience in the 2042 universe. So this is like our big shakeup here. So now we're getting story directors from Halo, which Halo has been known to have a pretty solid story. And then you're having someone who also already has experience with Titanfall coming into Battlefield. And Titanfall has been a very popular, actually, well, not in terms of sales, but popular among its player base as a powerful shooter. And
certainly.
And the Portal mode, which I hear is actually like the best mode within Battlefield because it's a mode that literally lets you play all the older Battlefield maps, not all of them, but a good majority of them inside 2042, is making their own experience in that world.
Yeah. I am personally kind of excited for this. This is actually kind of interesting. Vincent Pella, of course, from Titanfall and Respawn. You know, Halo designer Marcus Slato,
Mm-hmm.
and the developers of the Portal mode from 2042, Ripple Effect. The way I see this is that, like, Titanfall had great gameplay. Titanfall was a masterpiece. I know from what a lot of people said. I personally don't have any true experience, but I genuinely know that a lot of people have had great fun with that game. So, we got the gameplay. Now, Marcus Lato, building a new development team in Seattle, focused on storytelling. Honestly, the reason why the Battlefields haven't really had a great story or have had any real campaign in a sense or any story mode is because I know they've kind of been a flop, or they haven't been truly they work, but a lot of them are quite lackluster. I played Battlefield 4's story mode, and while it was a experience, I honestly got frustrated because a lot of the enemies were just, they're either like dense, they're acting really dense, or they were acting like bots, and they were literally spawning out of nowhere. There was a lot of glitches. I remember there was a Tokyo one. There was a Tokyo level, and you could literally jump off the side of the building, and you could see that there was no building beneath it. It was just a floating level. I know 5 got a lot of crap because they changed up the actual story, and they made it not as historically accurate, and people didn't truly like that, which don't like it, don't buy it, but I feel like if because like you said, Halo has a good amount of story to it. And I personally, like I said, I'm new to Halo, but if I play the campaign and I like it, I'll let you know when it comes the 8th. But the idea of having somebody who is great at storytelling being the head of a new dev team that would work on storytelling, I feel like I feel like it would improve the overall Battlefield single player experience. I know EA is kind of in that mindset where single player is dead, but I feel like if the storytelling thing would work out, they would change their mind. Ripple Effect, on the other hand, I think because Portal mode, that was the most exciting part of the new Battlefield. I think with the whole new universe thing, I feel like it would become a live service, in the sense that you could go back to older Battlefields, kind of, how in Battlefield you can switch to 1 or 5 or 4 in the sidebar. I feel like that's what they're going to attempt, and I feel like this will be quite oh, hold on one second. Brian Bede, or Byron Bede. I'm not sure how to say that name.
Byron Bede.
Okay. They're as a shepherd of long-term strategy and business decisions. I see. So they've even got somebody from Call of Duty, working on the Battlefield franchise.
As if we haven't had enough FUs to Activision as it already is.
Yeah, well, I'll separate the art from the artist, I guess. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
at this point, because fuck that old mess.
Hmm. But yeah, go looking at all this stuff. It's like it's really interesting to see that we have like Halo coming. Some all sorts of different talent. Like I said, there's Halo in Call of Duty. There's like Titanfall even too, and they're all mixing it in together to try to develop this like universe. Try to get Battlefield 2042 fixed up so it could be used as an anchor point for a whole universe, and that's a very ambitious idea that they have.
Yeah, definitely, and you know the rumor of the sequel to Fallen Order, for Jedi Fallen Order.
I would believe it, yeah. Like, I know that Respawn has done single-player games. And the funny thing, too, I was going to mention this. I was kind of slipped my mind. But since you mentioned Jedi Fallen Order, it reminded me. Jedi Fallen Order actually performed as of EA's expectations. It actually performed well for them. So that EA is, funny enough, been leaning into more single-player games than what some other Western companies have been leaning into. They've been gravitating towards the single-player mindset slowly again.
Yeah, definitely, and that's kind of I feel like that's kind of the side effect of saying that it's dead versus it actually being dead, because a lot of games I like to play are usually single player, because I feel like the ability to have some things to connect you to the game is what allows me to enjoy it a little bit more than just playing the multiplayer. Like, think of Red Dead 2. Red Dead 2 was a masterpiece, in my opinion. It's a great game, but Rockstar has been focused on Red Dead Online a lot more. And that's because after the success of Theft Auto 5, and they kind of shoehorned the definitive edition, I feel like Rockstar. I actually have. I have. Is that? Yeah, that's 5. Okay, I actually have 5. As an Xbox title. Yeah, I also have it over there, sitting over there, I think. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I feel like they don't understand that a good single player can make people connect with the franchise way more than some shoehorned multiplayer. And I feel like it's shoehorned because I feel like they focus all their efforts on an online live service because they feel like it makes them more money. And I'd say yeah, because microtransactions in single player games have less of an effect, I feel, than just a money spewing machine, you know. However, I think with the single player game, I think there people have been, how do I say this? I feel like people have been starved of a great single player game that they can just go back to and, just either live or relive. And there are great single player games out there that are only single player. BioShock, as one of them. I feel like, and I also feel like some of the even though they're Call of Duty is mostly multiplayer, I feel like some of the campaigns, I noticed how Black Ops 3 felt like a disaster because they tried to not connect it with the Black Ops franchise, and I feel like when 4 didn't even release with 1 to shoehorn in a battle royale, felt like it was quite a cash grab. Sorry, I keep on.
It's fine.
But I feel like if a single player experience was actually, if they put heart into it, I feel like that would add to the overall love of the franchise, I feel. But anyways, I feel like I'm talking too much.
No,
speaking of going, but yeah, I mean, But anyways, I mean, at least we can go back to older games, like you know how like the Xbox Game Pass and stuff, how they have a lot of older games and you can replay them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I truly love that, Like,
Yeah.
It's like only $10, I think, right? Or did they change it? I don't know. For a month of like playing older games,
Yeah, so
or
about
hell, even newer ones.
yeah, so I believe it's like $8 or $10 a month if you want to get like one platform, but it's 15 if you want to get like the cloud gaming service and then like access to both PC and console Game Pass libraries.
I see.
But
I
anyway,
wonder how PlayStation would handle that if they did.
yeah, so the idea of this, let me show you on screen here. Except without typing too, because I'm trying to transition over. Anyways, so PlayStation is planning on making a new service to take on Xbox Game Pass. Now, the thing is that with PlayStation, what they're trying to do here is they want to merge the PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus subscriptions together. Because PlayStation Now kind of was like a proto game, like a kind of like a Game Pass ish. Because I'm sure you know that PlayStation Now was originally Gaikai before Sony and PlayStation bought them off and then rebranded them to PlayStation Now. But the problem is that even though they did add the ability to download most of the games on the PlayStation Now library, everyone just still thought it was streaming only.
Yeah, certainly.
And so what they want to do is they want to combine the two services together, PlayStation Plus, which is like Xbox Gold, and PlayStation Now together to streamline this and make it, easier. So the idea is this. Sony is planning a new subscription service to compete with Game Pass. But the main difference here is that unlike Game Pass, which first-party games get added to it right away, Sony still isn't doing that. So you're not going to get like Last of Us Part 3 day one on this hypothetical service.
Yeah, I see.
Which obviously kind of stings because I'm sure if, like, say, you wanted to do that, acquire that game, and you don't have like $60 to spend, well, sucks for you. You can't spend the $15 to be able to play it for a month. So, but anyways, so this is how it's going to be available on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
And so, let me see on here, because I believe it offers something. And saying that in the spring, the service will merge Sony's two subscription plans together. And obviously, it's required for most online multiplayer games, and blah, 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 blah. But it's going to retain the PlayStation Plus naming. So it's not going to be like PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus together. It's just going to be PlayStation Plus all together. Make it easy. People know the name, etc.
Yeah, certainly.
And it's also saying here that details have not been finalized, but it's reviewed by Bloomberg outlines the service with 3 tiers. So there's 3 tiers of the service. The first will include existing PlayStation Plus benefits. So in other words, the first tier is just PlayStation Plus exactly the same. The second tier will offer a large catalog of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games eventually. So in other words, you'll have access to some PlayStation 4 and 5 games that you can play with this second tier. The third tier, this is the one that gets a little bit more exciting, and this is the one that's close to Game Pass, is it would add extended demos, game streaming, and a library of classic PS1, 2, P3, and PSP games.
Okay.
So that's the idea. And we don't need to know about how much Microsoft's Game Pass thing is doing. But looking at this, it's lacking the fact that you can't get... If you really want this to compute Game Pass, what Game Pass does well is that it includes the first-party games. It just includes it.
Definitely, yeah.
Like next year, when Starfield comes out, because that's now an Xbox game, you can play Starfield day one, and you could just pay $15 to play it for the month.
Yeah.
That is a huge selling point. And I know for someone like you who's mostly a big fan of Bethesda RPGs, specifically Fallout, that's a pretty big deal for you. Just, oh, I'm guaranteed the next Fallout and the next Elder Scrolls and then Starfield for just $15 a month, or $8 if you're aiming for just PC. And I just hop on in, sit down, and just play the game.
Yeah. I feel like it, yeah, I feel like that is for me, that's a selling point too, because the idea of just really, like, you just pay the subscription and you get to play the game, but you don't have to shell out for it too much. Like, I feel like the way that this service might is how it's documented right now. Yeah, I do understand, you know, what you mean by that, and I feel like I think it doesn't. I'm not sure if it even is supposed to compete with Game Pass, because, like, I don't know. I would love to see Sony do something very much like Microsoft, though. You know, have a how do I say this? Like, maybe play it on PC sort of thing, like a streaming thing as well. You know, like cloud gaming, right?
Yeah, which is included in this. You can cloud stream in the most expensive tier of.
Okay.
You can cloud stream in this version of PlayStation Plus, similar to like the most expensive tier of Game Pass, which is Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, but would you truly be able to play it on the, on the computer, like PlayStation 1 game, without emulating it?
Right, because I know that right now, you can definitely get the PlayStation. There's a PS Now app you can get on PC.
Okay.
So yes, there have been ways, like if it's on PlayStation Now and you download the PlayStation Now app, you can stream those games to PC.
Okay.
So it's likely going to be that when they combine the two services, it'll be just as PlayStation Now. You can go ahead and stream on your PC, kind of like you can with Xbox Game Pass now. But the catch, obviously, you'll probably want to have a PlayStation controller on hand because it's not good. Obviously, it's basing off a PlayStation version of a game. It's not like you're gonna have a PlayStation 5 flying around. But yeah, you'll want to have a PlayStation controller nearby if you're gonna stream the games on PC. Xbox is more like, hey, as long as you have the right utensils. Wow, utensils? Jesus, that's not right. Controllers.
As long as you have a Steam controller, if anything.
Oh, Steam controllers. That's right. I do have a Steam controller on hand.
Or like a Mad Catz bootleg. I don't know.
This Steam controller, you can use this to play your freaking Xbox Game Pass games you want to.
And you can enjoy all the benefits of a modern Nintendo Switch with Joy-Con drift. Sorry.
We're going to Tokyo, boys. We're going to Tokyo. Let's go. Just kidding. Yeah, we're going to Tokyo. Get that Tokyo drift ready. Okay, anyways. But what's interesting about this...
Tokyo drift! Sorry. All right, go ahead.
What's interesting about this is that if you look at this, it's $15 a month. This feels more like... I wish I had a chance to say this earlier, make it more concise.
Oh, sure.
If you are getting the PS4 and PS5 games, and then the only real bonus is these older games... This just reminds me of mixing Nintendo Online, so Nintendo's basic service,
Yeah.
with Xbox Live Gold. And that's a weird thing to say, but it kind of feels like that, because if the only advantage you're getting for upgrading to this newer service is just the retro games, you're just pretty much just talking Nintendo Online at this point, because the main advantage you get to Nintendo Online is, yes, you get to play games online. Yes, you'll have access to cloud saves for most games. But the catch is that most of that value comes from the retro games. It's obviously even worse with the expansion pack, but I'm just noticing that now that all these companies are starting to get back into tiers, I remember back in the 360 days, it used to be Xbox Silver and Xbox Gold. Microsoft practically alleviated most of the tiers because it's like, oh, it's just Game Pass. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Practically.
And silver was, and silver is basically just you own the console and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, gold was, you know,
gold was the one that you had to buy in order to get online multiplayer. Silver was like, hey, you could just use this to download DLC and stuff.
Yeah, certainly.
But that's the thing. Like, I remember back when I was like a kid, and like Xbox Gold was literally freaking gold, because the ability to play online was just that cool thing you had to have.
Certainly.
Like having your older brother play all these games online, you're like, I want to do this too. Oh, fuck.
But I want to play. I don't want to pay $10. I'm gonna go buy PlayStation 3.
That's right, because PlayStation 3 still had free online at the time, before PlayStation 4 was like, nope, middle finger, F you.
Yeah, that whole thing, I understand why it happened, because moderating the like, not moderating, but maintaining Xbox Live, I know was a pain, and I know Sony figured that if Xbox is doing it, why not? And what's interesting is that they won the console war in a sense, because everyone was like, oh yeah, PlayStation 4 or nothing, you know, and then, but you had to pay for the online service now, so.
Yeah, what makes this even worse, though, is the fact that fucking Nintendo, who was usually always behind on everything, latched onto the paid online thing because they're like, oh, these guys are doing it. Yeah, we'll do it too.
Yeah, I noticed that immediately. They just went full throttle and like with Nintendo Online, and now they're doing this like pay $5 extra for a DLC or something. I don't know.
No, they paid $20-something for
oh,
it.
20. Sorry, so 20. Never mind.
Over like $30 extra a year for DLC, and you're like, ah, shit.
Whoa.
And then
depression.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Second Escape. But you know what's more impressing though?
What? You know, hacking over the one of the top tier gaming companies because their development their CEOs are not the best people.
Kinda, yeah. We have to talk about the Game Awards. And the whole controversy that happened about that.
Yeah, because, well, you know. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Do you want to head straight into that topic?
Yeah, let's do it at this point. So what?
All right.
So what happened here is that Jeff Keighley, who is the main host of the Game Awards, obviously it's kind of become like the end of the year E3 at this point. That just happens to have awards.
Yep.
His original stance on it was he was trying to think about how to navigate Activision Blizzard's involvement in the ceremony, and he wanted to support employees and developers. Which, and then he added later, he support people coming forward with their stories, but also didn't want to diminish developer opportunities to spotlight their games. So, in other words, he says, we have to think very carefully about how to proceed here. And yeah, so essentially what happened here originally is that Jeff Keighley, the main guy behind the Game Awards, was like, I want to put more spotlight on the developers, but I know these corporate execs are shitty. And I want to feature these developers, but the people behind them are just absolute dickheads.
Yeah, and I see his stance on this. It's very difficult to you know how everyone would look at think of it like this. You are a company and you have telemarketers or customer service, and those people in customer service, they get a ton of bullshit from everyone, and they're not the higher ups. You know, and they get blamed for it. But vice versa, people always look at the king of the CEO when they think of, you know, I don't know, you think of Jeff Bezos when you think of Amazon, you know. You think of, well, I'm not sure about right now. Did Jeff Bezos sell Amazon? I forgot that whole thing. Oh my god.
No,
Such a moron.
he resigned from being CEO.
Oh, okay.
I
Never
believe he's
mind.
still part of the board of directors, but he is not the CEO of the company anymore. That's to a different guy now.
Okay. I see. All right. Well, you know what I mean. Like they look at the highest higher up. Like when there's a problem at like with Call of Duty, I think like when they back then in Black Ops 2, people always focus on David Vonderhaar when the game was doing bad things, like like the snipers having higher time to kill or something. A few other things, and you couldn't get a quad feed anymore. But I don't know, just stuff like that. They always focus on that sort of stuff, and it's very difficult to spotlight somebody that when like you said, that the CEOs are pretty shitty, but when you think of this company, you either think of the higher ups and you get angry at the lower like tier, like customer service representatives,
Yeah.
So I see where that goes.
Anyway, so later in the week, Keighley then elaborated that Activision Blizzard's involvement in the Game Awards, which he posted later that night, the night prior to the update. He confirmed that the publisher is not appearing outside the categories its games are nominated for, and that he added that there is no place for abuse, harassment, or predatory practices in any company or community. He also went on to say, I also realize we have a big platform which can accelerate and inspire change. We are committed to that, but we all need to work together to build a better and more inclusive environment so everyone feels safe to build the world's best games. So translation is, listen, you guys, we're only going to mention your games, and that's it. Don't show up to the show.
I see.
So, in other words, Activision's games are still going to be nominated.
Yeah.
But the actual figureheads from the company are not going to be there.
And that makes sense. It's easy to boo somebody, when they're there, and it's not easy to feel the shame, when you're not the one having the finger pointed at,
Yeah.
I feel. So, yeah. I agree. I agree with this stance. I feel like it's the best balance rather than just blacklisting versus, allowing these people to be there and then, I hope you understand.
Yeah, you want to blacklist to say, fuck the executives, let's honor the developers more so. That's kind of what he was trying to do, but obviously beforehand, there was a bit of backlash because some people were like, you're still allowing Activision Blizzard to represent, be represented in this show. They shouldn't be shown off at all. But this is like the best, honestly, this is probably the best compromise they can have is like, hey, we'll mention your games, but we're not going to mention you yourself.
Yeah.
That's what
I feel like, that's the compromise they have to do, and also I feel like, when conventions exist, there's always room for bad people to do bad things, and I feel like I don't want these developers to get the blunt end of somebody's hatred for somebody like the CEO.
Yeah, and speaking of CEOs, one such CEO actually stepped down from the company he worked for, and this is Jack Dorsey of Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So, on November 29th, so this was very early in the week, so we're done with our gaming topics now. We're all on tech now.
Okay.
On November 29th, Jack Dorsey stepped down. And he's going to be replaced by Parag Agarwal, who was a board member and former chief technology officer. And while Dorsey will remain a member of the board until the term expires, yeah, so he's going to remain a member of the board until his term expires at the next year. And he said he decided to leave Twitter because I believe the company is ready to move on from its founders. Because I believe Dorsey was actually one of the founders of Twitter. He says, my trust in Parag as Twitter CEO is deep. His work over the past 10 years has been transformable. I'm deeply grateful for his skill, heart, and soul. It's his time to leave. And Dorsey also warned of the potential pitfalls when a company founder stays on for too long. And he says, there's a lot of talk about the importance of a company being founder-led. Ultimately, I believe that's severely limited in a single point of failure. Unlike Steve Jobs of Apple, which that man catapulted Apple back into the spotlight.
Yeah.
But he's also...
I feel it.
I was going to say, let me continue for 5 seconds.
Sorry.
Said Dorsey still remains CEO of Square, which is a digital payments company. So that's like, you know, so sometimes you'll have those iPads at like restaurants where you could like swipe your credit card. The little devices you plug into the iPad. Yeah. He still remains the CEO of that company.
Okay, Square.
Yeah, so he's still the CEO of that. But yeah. But let's just talk about our thoughts on this. Like, what do you think of all this that's going on?
Okay. Yeah, and I apologize before for trying to cut you off. I didn't mean to. But anyways, so fine by me. I mean, I don't truly use Twitter that much, of course, because like, you know, I'm a, you know, Twitter is such a strange place for me. It feels, I don't know. Like, you see the bad stuff on it, and then you see, like, people are just like, oh, yeah, I use it to communicate with people. It's pretty okay. Or I use it for tech support or something, you know, or whatever. When it comes to this or that, I reach out to them. It doesn't... I don't truly care, but I get the idea of, like, not staying for too long on one thing, because if, you know, I mean... Some people are dynamic in the sense that if they do the same thing over and over, it just becomes clockwork, and they literally can't break out of that sort of thing. Like, they're like, aren't I supposed to be doing this? Or aren't I supposed to be blah, blah, blah? You know, and, you know, I think that, I feel like founder-led type of companies, they you know, they have, I wouldn't say an ego, but like what he said, I wouldn't say ego, but I feel like they believe that their vision is the rightest side of history, I guess, you know? And they don't think that anybody else could do their job better, you know. And I feel like if you hand your company out to somebody, you are putting trust into that entity that they would make your company or your creation their own, with respect to what you originally envisioned, but also you give them the respect of allowing them to see this and make it not their own, but make it even better. You know, some people, like, you could argue that Disney made Star Wars better, or that they made it worse, or that they made the Marvel universe better or worse, you know?
Right.
Think of it like that.
Yeah. I would have to say, though, with Disney, the main advantage they had with the Marvel universe is the fact that they had money to get all most of the characters back.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Considering what the situation they were in, Marvel was in beforehand, while a lot of their characters were all scattered about from all the different film publishers. Disney was like, okay, we're going to scoop you up, and in addition, we're going to try and get all your characters back. They still have to deal with something with Spider-Man, but besides that, that's about it. But let's just bring it back into the article a little bit. So one of the things that,
of course,
so one thing I did notice, it was in another article, but it looked like he was already starting some like reorganization of the company already. So it seems like a lot of the stuff he's trying to get things on track like immediately. Now, one thing I do want them to remove or reevaluate is this whole Twitter Blue thing that they did, which is like a subscription service they had for Twitter. Were literally one of the most annoying things that if you want to edit a freaking tweet, I'm not joking about this.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. $3, and you get to edit your tweets. And yay! Amazing. What? How is basic functionality paid service? What?
Yeah, I have no idea. I honestly think that I would take a few more ads if it means I could do that feature for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, we all hate ads, and I get that. But sometimes ads are a necessary evil.
Oh, yes. And people say, oh, yes, but ad block. But some people don't ad block, okay? Most people don't. You know,
I don't ad block.
No, I don't ad block either. I don't really truly care that much about. I mean, I understand. Oh, yes, you know, there is a, my time is valuable and all that stuff, but I'd rather give a little bit of time than pay for a subscription that slowly gets neutered over time, I feel, you know?
Yeah. I'd rather spend $1,900 on a Tesla Cyberquad than...
Oh, yeah, me too. Honestly, take the kiddos for a ride. Just like...
Yeah.
Going down to the park.
So we have to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have to talk about this. So pretty much the entry point to our Tesla's range electric vehicle got lower. On Thursday, the American automaker announced the Cyberquad for Kids, an angular electric all-terrain vehicle inspired by the company's Cybertruck concept. At $1,900, the ATV costs a tiny fraction of the next cheapest Tesla you could order online. And obviously, it's not the first ATV that they shown off, since there was one with the Cybertruck that they showed off back then. But this one is more so for anyone ages 8 or older. It can accommodate to anyone up to 150 pounds. Spoilers, I'm heavier than 150 pounds, so I'm not going to fit in this stupid thing. And you can get up to 15 miles and a top speed of 10 miles per hour. Even though it's optionally be limited to 5. So, yeah. And the battery pack can only be regular charge and not supercharged. So...
Aw, man. Dang it. I was thinking, we drive down to the nearest Tesla station. Vroom, supercharged. Keep on going, and we'll be in frickin' like Ontario by then.
Woo! Okay, but anyways, yeah, this is an interesting idea. I kind of think that this would have made more sense. Like, if official car manufacturer would do this for kids, like, not just license the material out for like Fisher Price to make a car, but like an actual car manufacturer make this thing, it would be really cool.
Yeah. Just like a certain phone, you know, certain phone from Fisher Price. Anyways, but yeah, no. Nice. I like the idea of this. Though you're paying for a Tesla made by like a toy company, you know?
Yeah. This is an actual Tesla. The only difference is just it's in a quad. Like, I'm not gonna argue with, like, if I was a rich ass motherfucker, I would probably buy this for my kid, no question about it.
Oh yeah.
Like, having my young son be able to drive around the backyard with this thing would be freaking cool. But
oh yeah, certainly.
Obviously, because it only goes 10 miles per hour, you don't want to bring this on the streets. Just leave it in the backyard or on the hiking trails, and you're good.
Definitely.
But but while this is meant for the kids, let's talk about something a little bit more grown up. Let's talk about how Qualcomm is now making some more new chipsets for ARM. Qualcomm.
Certainly.
So, essentially what's happening here is that Qualcomm is expanding its line of ARM chips for Windows and Chromebook. And they're doing the Snapdragon 8CX Gen 3 and the 7C Plus for Gen 3. And it's also being built, so at least the Snapdragon 8CX Gen 3 is being built on last year's Gen 2, and it's actually the first 5nm PC platform according to Qualcomm themselves. And it's being designed mostly for ultra slim and fanless laptops in mind. So in other words, super thin laptops to go. Netbooks, well, not netbooks, but you get the idea. It's meant for like a lot of stuff in that regard. And they're also, it's also saying that the chipsets will deliver up to 85% improved performance compared to the previous generation and 60% better per watt performance than x86 chips. So they're saying this is going to be better for, you know, like basic usage computers at least. And they're saying that there's going to have 5G and Wi-Fi 6/6E connectivity. And it's going to offer multi-day battery life, upgraded camera and audio functions, and chip-to-cloud security. And there's a lot of technical stuff here that we don't really need to get in as much into. And
yeah, definitely not.
We'll just say that according to this thing here, with the GPU that's inside this thing, you'll be able to play games in full HD, so 1080p at 100 frames per second, and Qualcomm claims that the platform optimized let folks play up to 50% longer than certain competing platforms. Now, because this is a Snapdragon, again, this isn't like Intel or AMD, this is not going to work with those sort of games. The architecture is way too different unless Windows gets their pseudo wine thing working. I think I remember I thought I saw them working on that at one point, but yeah. So, but yeah, like the 7C Plus is more meant for like entry level, and then this 8 series one that they have is going more for like higher end usage. But but the fact they have this new chipset here, that's gonna be useful for some. Oh, and they also are showing off the G3X. And I remember hearing this rumor thing. So if you scroll down the article I had here from Engadget for the Qualcomm thing, you'll see this like prototype handheld thing.
Oh yeah.
That's supposedly a Razer device that's being developed.
Oh, that's quite interesting. It's like a Steam Deck with a mixed with like an Aya Neo or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but the thing that the controllers don't detach, and it's using a pure mobile chipset. So this thing I heard was actually going to be pretty ridiculous. Like it supposedly has an 8K camera in it for some freaking reason. I have no idea why.
Why would you put an 8K camera in a handheld device? What are you like? What are you traveling to like Africa and taking pictures of the wildlife while you're playing fucking Fortnite or something?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like I heard some weird. It has like an OLED, like 120 hertz screen or some ridiculous thing like that. Like it's interesting little device. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, it says it's to show off the platform. Razer collaborated with Qualcomm on a handheld gaming dev kit that's available to developers starting today via its website. The device features a 120 hertz 6.65 inch OLED display with 10-bit HDR support, 4 speakers, and a built-in controller. The device can even be used for live streams that includes audio and video feed from players since it has a 1080p 60 frame per camera and dual mics. So apparently you can live stream with this thing for some reason.
Jeez, oh my goodness. I'm gonna be honest, like that's insane in my opinion. Like I like the idea of being able to stream with like a handheld and just doing whatever the hell you want on it. Like you could be gaming and streaming on this thing, you know? You could, I mean, maybe, I don't know, but I do love the idea of this. It's got a lot of features that I like. You know, the idea of like the 120 hertz screen, that'd be good for video games. and the HDR, of course. I don't know about 6.6-inch displays because that's it's kind of small. It's
For reference, think of the Switch's screen.
yeah,
It's roughly the same size as like the Switch screen.
might work then. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. I like this.
So that's the device they highlighted here. That like, hey, that's what they're announcing here. But yeah, these chipsets seem like they're gonna be really good, especially on like notebooks and stuff like that, like laptops that don't need as like battery intensive CPUs like a x86 chip. Like like these sort of chips, these ARM chips are meant to be battery efficient powerhouses that are good for quick, snappy tasks. Like
Definitely.
Like having these sort of processors on phones, like imagine that, like being able to push mobile gaming even further to be able to like, imagine if these things could actually support an Xbox One or a PS4 game. I don't think it's gonna be that crazy or powerful, but it's leaning towards, these chipsets might actually be powerful enough to be able to handle that, which is ridiculous.
Definitely, because you got to think like slim and fanless laptops are very difficult to cool when it comes to like, I believe x86, but like you try to run games on them and they sound like a jet turbine. Let me tell you. And I feel like if these ARM-based chips, I feel like they would like 5 nanometer CPUs. Is that what this is? So a process node. Okay, yeah. The idea of like AMD right now has 7 nanometer. This is 5 nanometer. Now the what is it called? The things inside of them, the process like nodes, they have to get really small. So like they can only get so small before they are impossible to make any smaller. And we're getting to that point,
Yeah, unless you somehow can manipulate squeeze light like we talked about last week.
That too, but
yeah, at that point you're gonna eventually start talking about nanoelectronics and get to a point that you can start making screens that can like be actual scrolls, which is insane to think about.
Yeah, certainly. I'm quite excited about this as well because this would be great for productivity workloads. I feel like you'd be able to on the go be able to use a bunch of ARM-based software.
Yeah,
and be able to.
Yeah, if there's like a tablet version of like an ARM version of say Photoshop that you can just plug into a tablet that has one of these newer ARM-based processors.
Yeah.
Then it'll work out really well. Or in my case, like imagine if I had like an ARM-based Snapdragon, like the high-end one that's using this Razer prototype here, plopped it down and I can use it to like run Photoshop on it and make some animations off it, use like Adobe Animator or something like that. Oh man, it'd be brilliant. Again, granted, if there's an ARM-based version of it, or if Windows can perfect their ARM-based emulator, I think they've been working on for a while. Because I know that they've done ARM apps through the means of Amazon on the Windows Store, but like if you had like the perfect ability to emulate x86 apps on an ARM-based processor.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that
You mentioned Wine earlier. Is that the emulator?
Yeah, Wine is typically like used a lot of times to like emulate like certain programs. Wine is especially used to emulate Windows programs on like Mac and like Linux.
Oh, so an inverse of that.
Kind of, yeah. We're talking about being able to emulate. They need to perfect the ability to emulate Windows on, because if you could emulate, if you could have an ARM-based version of Windows that could perfectly emulate the x86 programs, you're golden.
Yeah, and at that point, that's compatibility mode 2.0, and then Windows probably could just move on to ARM, if all that works out.
Yeah, because ARM's already a quick, snappy processor already. So imagine being able. So if Windows can actually fully migrate to ARM, then imagine gaming PCs just running on ARM and having this quick, snappy architecture that can just obliterate everything. Like gaming performance could be off the roof if done correctly.
CS:GO ARM running at 1,200 FPS.
Woo!
Yeah, no delay at all.
Exactly, it'd be great, and you can play. And the best part too, you play it in 5G, so you can be anywhere with it.
Oh yeah.
But let's not get this misinformation carried away from us, because let's not get tricked by some cats on the internet. These adorable little cats.
Oh no, let's not have a keyboard cat telling me about certain things.
Yeah, so probably what's going on is that there's a new Tang Dynasty television, and apparently there's a station linked to the Chinese spiritual movement, Falun Gong. He posted a Facebook video of a woman saving a baby shark stranded on a shore. Next to the video was a link to subscribe to the Epoch Times, a newspaper that's tied to Falun Gong and that spreads anti-China and right-wing conspiracies. And that post collected 33,000 likes, comments, and shares. And the website of whatever researchers say is a chief research online reported regular posts about cute animals that generate tens or even hundreds of thousands of interactions on Facebook. Stories includes kitten and chick nap so sweetly together, and why orange cats may be different from other cats. And Western Journal, a right-wing publication that has pushed unproven claims about the benefits of using hydroxychloroquine to treat COVID-19 and spread falsehoods about fraud in the 2020 election, owes Liftable Animals a popular Facebook page. Liftable Animals post stories from Western Journal's main website alongside stories about golden retrievers and giraffes. And the main thing they're trying to show here is that videos and GIFs of cute animals, usually cats, have gone viral for a very long time. And they're saying now it is becoming increasingly clear how widely the old school internet trick is being used on people and organizations, peddling false information online, Misinformation research says. The posts with animals do not directly spread false information, but they can draw a huge audience that can be redirected to a publication or site spreading false information about election fraud, unproven COVID cures, and other baseless conspiracy theories entirely unrelated to the videos. Sometimes following a feed of cute animals on Facebook unknowingly signs up users up as subscribers to misleading posts from the same publisher. So, and then one person, Melissa Ryan, who is CEO of Card Strategies, mentions the strategy works because the platforms continue to reward engagement over everything else, even when that engagement comes from publications that also publish false or misleading content.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also mentioned that perhaps no organization deploys the tactic as forcefully as Epoch Media. And they said they published videos of cute animals in 12,062 posts on its 103 Facebook pages in the past year, according to an analysis by New York Times. Those posts, which include links to other Epoch Media websites, racked up nearly 4 billion views. And trending worldwide Epoch's Facebook pages was 15th most popular page on the platform in the United States between July and September. And an example of this is that by the Epoch Times Taiwan page, they show up a close-up of a golden retriever while a woman tries to to pry an apple from its mouth. It has over 20,000 likes, shares, and comments on Facebook. And yeah, you can see here that there's a bunch of animals used on this. So pretty much sum this all up without explaining too much. Animals are being used to spread misinformation.
Yeah, and it's quite scary, when I saw this article and I presented it to Hydrowave, we were laughing, and then we looked deeper into it. Because we were like, those cute cats online, they help spread misinformation. And it was like, oh, wow, yeah, that's kind of funny, Keyboard Cat and Nine Cat and Grumpy Cat and all that, little Bub. So it was just quite like, as we delve deeper into it, this would just felt like the Activision Blizzard segment all over again. Because we delved deeper in the article and it was like, holy shit, there's a lot more to it. But it wasn't as deep as Activision Blizzard, but it's quite scary that you could run into a thing that how is it? You could run into like a meme or a video, and whatever AdSense or something would redirect you to slightly less genuine videos or videos of topics. And while I don't really take a side, in a sense of like in the sense of like right wing, in a sense. I'm more like, I understand the concern about misinformation, because I do feel like that is probably the worst part of social interaction, is the game of telephone that a lot of information goes through, where I could say energy, and somebody could eventually spread it to me saying, like I said, Zenny or something. Something weird. I don't know. I'm just looking at my guitar amp. But yeah, no. It's scary, and the idea of I'd say this is more of a, not a conspiracy, but an observation that could be true. Because I feel like, yes, this can happen, and this does look like plausible, rather than a conspiracy theory, which truly isn't. But there's no end to misinformation when it comes to the internet, or anything really. Let me tell you,
Oh, exactly, because it's like,
So,
matter what side you are on, like left or right, or even when you see an article, like imagine a cat. It's not just right wing conspiracy, but left wing conspiracy too, because it's also fueling the political division that we're seeing within our society, at least in the United States. For those of you who are watching from abroad,
yeah.
but it's just like, this whole thing is it's further causing division already, because if the algorithms of the social media sites focus more on engagement, how long are people watching the content, how long are people reading, how many clicks, and not
Mm-hmm.
the quality of the information that you have, it's already causing issues with how society treats each other.
And that's quite scary, because the capitalizing on engagement, because that's how you get more ads shown, and that's how you get ad revenue and all that stuff. It's quite disturbing that companies would choose profit over genuinity, I guess, or the truth of the quality, or the what is it? The point that it gets across, I guess, that, or help me out on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I know that, like, even us, like, we have to try and make our thumbnails even as engaging as possible, or as click worthy as possible. Like, the whole concept of making our, appearance of the show as click worthy as possible. Like, I even had to try and make the UI of the entire show, like everything you see here. It's like, yeah, it looks nice to me, but it's just like, I have to try and make sure this thing looks as nice as possible to try and retain people, so I can still spread information. At least try to properly.
Yeah. And information that, is genuine as possible and is, with a side of entertainment in a sense, like making sure that this news is engaging enough, that you, as the viewer, feel like you would want to come back to us, And I truly appreciate everyone who does,
Oh, absolutely. And then that way, when we get to, say, 100 episodes, we can all look back at the photographs of how far we came from episode 1.
Yeah, and, that sort of stuff, like the red eyes and, whatever the fuck is on Hydro's head. Actually, wait, no. What the hell is that on Alpaca's head? Because, give me 1 second. What the hell is that on Alpaca's head, dude? Oh shit! The lights are attached to me. What the hell? Get get the lights off! Get the lights off! I'm tangled. Holy shit, dude!
Did you just super glue the lights to yourself? Oh my god!
Jesus Christ! Anyway,
that's having some of the times in which my hair will get stuck on the the hanging fly traps. That's really annoying.
Scootily booba doop. Skongalongongagong. Get the fuck out of here, please.
But hey, this is at least you can't get much worse than this. I mean, we can get to pretty bad things, but I would say that the FCC trying to sue to block Nvidia's purchase of ARM is a better thing to see than watching people get misinformed by cats.
Yeah, those sons of bitches. When I saw this, I was like, what is Sadie up to? I have a cat. Her name's Sadie. And at one point, she unplugged my Ethernet cable, and I was unable to diagnose the issue until I looked. And I was like, what the? I was like, why am I offline? Anyways, I mean, yeah, let's talk about that because roadblocks and plans to acquire.
Yeah, so
let's talk about that.
Yeah, so last week we were talking about how the UK was trying to investigate the same acquisition as well. So the UK is investigating, and now we have the FTC also investigating it. And both countries, which in this case we're talking about the FTC, which is the United States Federal Trade Commission, they're trying to sue to block the merger over concerns the $40 billion deal would stifle competition from multiple technologies, including data center and car computers. ARM is a critical input that fosters competition between NVIDIA and rivals, and a merger would give NVIDIA a way to undermine those challengers, which we talked about this last week too, that we feel like NVIDIA could potentially utilize this to increase royalty fees to use the architecture, and that this in turn could do stuff like potentially give Nintendo, I mean, it's an indirect consequence, but Nintendo, who's directly working with NVIDIA, would also have direct access to the ARM architecture without having to worry about other licensing and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I also feel like the innovation that would, be stifled by the royalty fees. But also, I just realized that NVIDIA isn't very open source. I know AMD and AMD graphics cards, and also Ryzen, I think. A lot of Radeon, most of Radeon is open source, I believe. Like, not open source, but it was. Yeah, so you can run AMD like on a Linux distribution and have no problems. But if you have an Nvidia graphics card, you have to download specific drivers. While with AMD, you can it's just plug and play, and you install the drivers. So with Nvidia being less open source in a sense, I do wonder about this ARM acquisition, if they would pull a similar thing where they would lock down ARM a little bit more.
Yeah,
we were just talking about, Snapdragon and that sort of stuff, so it's a little scary in my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, speaking of Qualcomm about this, Qualcomm reportedly objected to the ARM deal in communications with the FTC over fears Nvidia might refuse to license designs. And according to Nvidia's PR speak, they say that the acquisition would accelerate ARM's product plans, foster more competition, and still protect the chip architecture designers' open licensing model, according to Nvidia. And we do have a full statement down below about this. And it says, as we move into this next step in the FTC process, we will continue to work to demonstrate that this transaction will benefit the industry and promote competition. NVIDIA will invest in ARM's R&D, accelerate its roadmap, and expand its offerings in ways that boost competition, create more opportunities for all ARM licensees, and expand the ARM ecosystem. NVIDIA is committed to preserving ARM's open licensing model, ensuring that its IP is available to all interested part licensees, current and future.
Okay.
But like I said, this could be deemed as PR speak, because sometimes it's like, oh yeah, we'll still keep it available to everybody. Just pay us more money for it. Or in other cases too, like I just mentioned how Qualcomm reported objected to this deal, but then they also speculate that when heavyweights like Apple, MediaTek, and Samsung also depend on this processor architecture, if Apple, the rest of the market would be enthusiastic. So, and at least the trial will delay closure of the union past NVIDIA's original 2020 target. So, in other words, this may not even happen till like if this lawsuit fails, this might not be a thing we'll see till like 2023 or 2024 even.
Yeah.
Like ARM itself, technically, if you want to reduce as much like thing as possible, ARM should just be an independently like a company. It should just be an independent company. No one should own it. It should be illegal to buy it, and just let it run as like a pseudo non-profit organization sort of thing.
I don't know about being illegal, but I think it should,
or at least have more funding from governments per se.
Yeah, I feel like that would work a little bit better than just.
Yeah, just have government protection to make it so it's harder to acquire the company. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean. Like, you need to have if it should be acquired, you wouldn't want it to be a already existing chip maker that could potentially use it to, advance its own products. But at the same time, having it under Nvidia could mean that, yeah, if you're talking about Nvidia chips, imagine the possibility, like some weird possibility of like having like ARM-based CPUs inside the GPUs for some reason, and then the two work together to make some sort of like GPU that happens to have some ARM-based CPU that can power additional tasks or something like that, which could be potentially possible. Like have a second, so it kind of has like a weird thing where you have your main CPU, but your GPU also has a secondary CPU that's an ARM-based processor that can be used to power other tasks.
Yeah.
Or even better though, at least the main reason why Nvidia would probably want this a lot is so they could use it to power their Tegra processors, which, like I mentioned, was in the Switch. But Nvidia could use this to power like cars and other gadgets.
And I believe that although this is a little bit gloomy, one other thing is that Nvidia with the royalties, this might actually kind of like what's going on with my face? This might actually like cause tech companies to create their own sort of software, or not software, or their own sort of chips, you know. I do wonder about that, because like, if Nvidia owns ARM, it's not just open to anyone to use it and modify it, you know, I guess. I wonder about if like if they'd be able to, like, if this would actually force innovation as well, you know?
Yeah. Or what you
I don't
could
know.
technically do. I mean, another way that this could ARM could technically, operate is that instead of it being a company that is acquired by one company that tries to supervise it all to make sure it all goes according to plan, have it just be a company that kind of like the ESRB in the United States. It's as members from all the different companies that negotiate with ARM to figure out how to best advance technology forward.
Okay.
That's another idea you could do. But yeah, this is an interesting thing. Like, there are benefits to Nvidia from doing it, and obviously cons to every other company. And
Definitely.
and clearly, in the consumer sense, it's probably best that Nvidia does not actually go for this. But in terms of Nvidia's production and technology they can come up with, it could potentially be a good thing too. So who knows? But as long as this could be another story that we're definitely going to keep up with, because it'd be nice to have another ongoing story that's not just gaming related, because we don't have many of these sort of ongoing tech stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll definitely keep a close eye on this whole deal, because this could shake up the entire cell phone and like Chromebook industry.
Yeah, we could definitely, either way, we'll we'll be seeing things, we'll be, really, it's just, like, however this goes, I am a little afraid that it would affect the bottom line. And I also don't know, because Nvidia is less open source like than AMD with their drivers, I believe. So I don't know. It's a big thing to think of. I feel I'm it's hard to think of, like how this will go. It's when there's information about something and then there's like this or that sort of, you kind of wonder what is truly right,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But let's just say it this way. Let's lighten yourself up a little bit. It's a bird.
Yeah.
It's a plane. No, it's actually just satellites.
Oh yes, keep your eye in the sky, because so there was a yeah, go right ahead. Actually,
No,
I'll let you take this way.
It's your story. Go ahead for it.
Okay. So there was a SpaceX Starlink satellite, a few, I believe, that flew over near western North Carolina. And while you might actually be completely terrified because aliens, holy crap, you find an alien gray in the sky, and it's like, oh my, like, if I saw this, I thought it's the end of times. I thought the aliens were here, but this is actually just the Starlink satellite flying about. There's a video here, and it's literally somebody filming it, and oh my god, it looks like something out of Halo, I swear. Like, I it's terrifying, because, like, it feels like a spaceship that's just flowing about the atmosphere. And is around 6:20 p.m. On where is it? December 4th, so yesterday, I believe. No, it should have been, where does it say? Seen by many upstate on Friday. Okay, so yeah, it was well, technically it's Sunday, but it was yesterday. And people, like, this is terrifying. but they successfully deployed 48 satellites on December 2nd, and then on Saturday night, you know, the 4th, like,
but yeah, it literally comes off as like a freaking stripe in the sky. Like,
yeah, like people start seeing that, and it was like, what the hell? You know, that's terrifying. Like, in my opinion, if you don't know what the hell it is, like me personally, I know about like the vastness of space, and there's anything out there. But if I see this and I don't know that it's just a damn satellite, I am like preparing for the end of the goddamn world. Because like, what the fuck is this? It's a line in the sky just floating by. It looks like a, you know, it looks like a fish that just shot out a brick. You know,
Is this just a ploy for Elon Musk to make us buy more Teslas? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he has a connection with Halo and, you know, Halo Infinite. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe. Maybe there's like a Tesla skin for one of the Halo vehicles. That's gonna be a thing in.
Oh, sorry. Oh. Off-key monk chants.
Right. Anyway.
Anyways.
Yeah. So, is this the end, or maybe not? Because, ladies and gentlemen, the ship hosts are back. The real.
Oh yes. Oh.
The real ship hosts, the one that we are known for the early episodes, have come.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man.
The real ship hosts. So let's get...
Yeah, the ones that smell rotten, just like tofu sitting out in the backyard.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So,
okay.
Alpaca, let's explain this one here to the audience here. Like, what's going on here?
Grafton, Massachusetts. It is a somber night. You are at rest, but then a putrid smell blows in from the windowsill. You walk outside. You see a shadow shift by. And you hear a scream. And you see the figures slowly shuffle away. And then you smell the rotten stench of something. These figures, you believe, are the mafia, and that they have just disposed of a dead body. But in reality, you're just a fucking moron. It's just tofu, you dumbass. Anyway, so some people in Grafton, Massachusetts, they're not actually dumbasses. I'm just saying that for the comedy. But basically, toast, burnt toast, but rotten burnt toast, which makes no sense. They were looking for dead livestock and actual bodies. They couldn't leave the house without, like, puking almost, and they, were just so it was around Creeper Hill Road, interesting name, throughout the town, and they were looking about, and there was like a company, Feedback Earth, or the Mass Department of Environmental Protection Divisions of Air Quality and all that. They were testing around, and my God, like, there was tofu all around the city or town, and they were just they're doing that. Like, I do not know how this happened. But like somehow these people got tofu all around the damn town, and they're just walking around. It smells terrible. Like, oh my god. I personally have never really had tofu go rotten on me, but if this is fucking like, if this is a thing that, you know, if this is a thing that people weren't paying attention, I swear they were not doing a good job you know, with getting rid of their waste products. All I could say is make sure you double bag your tofu in like plastic, and you know, just don't like poison the town with rotten tofu smell. I don't know how this happens. You're just
Right.
like, anyways, but
Like, why did they have to make a road that some reason just sounds like something that could come out of freaking Minecraft? Imagine just trying to throw tofu at a freaking creeper. How are they gonna freaking respond to that?
hold on, I gotta turn on noise suppression. Sorry. Sorry. Creeper Hill Road. Creeper is made by tofu. Confirm. That's all I can say. They aren't made of gunpowder. They're made of tofu. You eat the tofu, and then you become a creeper. And that's why you're green, because you're a vegetarian now. Anyways, I don't know. No offense to vegetarians. I'm just saying, like,
No.
that's the joke. That JPEG.
Lol. But yeah.
Lol.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm trying to be a redneck. Anyways,
Let's just relive your redneck fantasies again, because
let's relive my redneck fantasies. Let me just grab this 7-bowl and drink it. No, I'm gonna drink beer. Beer.
right, because someone was shocked that a book titled Redneck Night Before Christmas came from the school library, which I have no freaking idea how you would do this. But yeah, I guess a mom found that her daughter was able to check out a book called Redneck Night Before Christmas, and I guess at the book parent who said she wants to know how the book filled with Confederate flags got into the elementary school.
Sorry, I'm drinking beer.
You're making a concoction of Red Bull and Dr. Pepper.
Sorry, I got that alcohol caffeine. I'm a drinking.
But yeah, and they were like, this is the book, this is the very first page, and it apparently broke her heart. And she said the title is problematic enough, but then she flipped to the first page, which shows a Santa figure carrying a big bag with a Confederate flag across it. And
fuck, are you shitting me?
And apparently, there's like the first page just broke their heart. Local mothers questioned how this book, filled with Confederate flag, got into the school library shelves and into the home. Her 8-year-old innocently thought it was a fun Christmas story until they opened it. And fortunately, wait, no, they didn't share the image. Oh, thank God. Because I almost thought I had to get this video demonetized, but again, we're not 1,000 subs yet, so I don't know why that matters. Anyway.
Well, we're actually just drinking water, so.
Oh my God! What sort of?
I'm actually just drinking water. It's only water. It's not a cold one. It's a cold one. Mm-hmm.
You're mixing Monster, Red Bull, Dr. Pepper, water, and iced coffee into like some unholy concoction of beverages. What in the world? But apparently, and it's like, but then she continued to flip through the pages, and they found a picture of a gun. Like, not only that, but the school had to see this because they put a post-it note over it. Here's another one they covered up as well. So they're putting post-it notes over the guns in the book.
Really? Why?
And it said, Martin said the sticky notes covering the Confederate flags and 5 of the illustrations tell her someone knew it would be offensive and left the book on the shelves anyway. So probably what they were doing with this was they covered the entire offensive material with sticky notes.
Oh. So, why did they... Like, so they knew that it was offensive, but they just went ahead and just like, yeah, you know. So, basically, they gave it a redneck Christmas by, drinking so much and having that Confederacy.
Oh my God! Why are you? How much more concoction are you doing this? Now you have 2 Fuji Smart Waters and like a Coke and a Pepsi can, a Dr. Pepper can, like several iced coffees. Monster, what the hell are you doing? You're making a drink that's probably worse than alcohol itself.
Well, give me 1 second, cause I got some eggnog.
Oh God, you're covered. Eggnog equal to slap an egg in the middle of this abomination. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, and even more. I've actually got more drink.
Oh God, that's actual eggnog. Oh, wow. But anyways, yeah. So
Yep.
And they said that the school told Channel 9 it received the donated book at the beginning of the year from a school that had closed. They said they should have done a better job reviewing what was donated and will be better at stream books on the shelves.
Yeah, man. Can't have so much water. Sorry. Wait,
And
drink so much, you like can't even see my face now.
And apparently, and I guess the person who received it was an African American in her class. So,
Oh. Well,
so think about how this is. You're talking about Confederacy onto an African American woman.
yeah. I get that. That's mean. That's kind of uncalled for.
So this little elementary schooler didn't know what this flag meant.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind
At
of
least what it means nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like everyone abuses the history of it, I feel.
Yeah, it was meant to be a flag that was signal the Civil War, but now a lot of people think it's like, oh hey, this is just reviving what should have been old forgotten beliefs. It literally changed. Based off all of this, I mean, yeah, we were just laughing around at tomfoolery at first because we were just like, hey, this was just so stupid that it seemed funny, but then you read it again and you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's quite it's literally like the cat thing, but not
as bad.
To a point, not as bad. It's just kind of rude rather than literally creating misinformation,
Yeah, we originally were thinking like, oh boy, this is gonna be us joking around Redneck style again, thinking about photographs and stuff, and well,
yeah,
clearly a lot worse.
Now yeah, but it's okay because I'm just drinking water and coffee. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Like 5 cans of 7 Bull and knockoff Monster at the same time.
Yeah. It's not a phase, Mom. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I don't have much else to say on this. So, our comment of the day at this point is we just received a lot of love from FluufAlpaca over here, and again our friend at Death Serpent Gaming. He sent some love over with a heart emoji, and for those of you who don't know, I actually am going to appear on episode 3 of Death Serpent's podcast. So please make sure to go check out. If I ever find out when it gets released, I'll make sure to link it in either this video or a future video for when it becomes available. And yeah, then we'll have a little promotion there to make sure that we're all on the same page there. Other than that, though, we don't really have any other comments worth talking about. I know we don't really get many anyways, but I mean, as this podcast grows, hopefully we'll have some people that actually will comment and leave their thoughts on, things they want us to talk about or whatever. But other than that, I'm HighJoyWave99.
And I am FluufAlpaca.
And we'll see everybody next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye. And fuck Bobby Kotick.